Welcome to Greek Verse a Day. Today we are translating Revelation 1:15. You're working from the Reader's Edition. I'm working from the screen. We're going to read twice, have a chance for you to pause, and then I jump in with some comments. So let's do a slow reading first. Kai hoi pades autou hamoioi kalkol ibano hos in kamino pepuromenes kai he phone autou hos phone hudaton palon. One more time, a little bit faster. Kai hoi pades autou hamoioi kalkolibano os in kamino pepuromenes kai he phone autou hos phone hudaton palon. So this is your opportunity to pause, take a look at your Reader's Edition, and see what you can make of the verse. All right, so remember what's going on at this point in Revelation. John is describing the one like a son of man. In Revelation 1:14, John described the one like a son of man's head and face area, and now he is moving down to the opposite end of the one like a son of man's body, namely his feet. And that we get that right here, right away, with kai hoi pades. This is the word for feet, a third declension word. This ace ending is the nominative masculine plural ending, which matches hoi right here. Remember, the definite article is always your friend for identifying case, gender, and number of a noun. And then right after it, we have a possessive personal pronoun, so his feet, and his feet, hamoioi. So this is the word for same, and notice that it matches up in case, gender, and number with hoi pades, a nominative masculine plural. And then this is where things are going to start to get tricky. This whole clause right here is a bit tricky, mostly because John does something ungrammatical. And you'll when you read commentaries on Revelation, you'll see that they note fairly frequently that John does things that don't follow the proper rules of sort of prescriptive Greek grammar, or they stray from what might be expected. Excuse me. Of a writer of Greek. So this first, and the other reason that this is difficult is because this first word is the only time this word appears in any ancient Greek literature, the New Testament or otherwise. And this is a word that means it's burnished bronze or bronze. So like bronze, and notice that this is a singular here, that we have this is a neuter singular, and it's in the dative case. So likened to, so it's in the dative case because John wants to say that his feet are likened to. Remember, with the dative, we're usually doing to, our translation of to or with. So likened to bronze, as in kamino. So this little prepositional phrase here means in a furnace. So kamino is the word for furnace. Excuse me again. And this is where things get ungrammatical. So here we have, let's go ahead and just underline this 3 times because it is a participle. And it is a perfect, and by form it could be middle or passive, but here it's probably going to be passive because the action is happening to it. Perfect passive participle. And then our ending here, the epsilon sigma, tells us that it's genitive feminine singular, and it is from the verb purao, which means to put under fire, or to inflame. So what's ungrammatical about this is that this pepuromenos is a participle that is modifying something in this sentence. And presumably it is modifying the bronze. But remember that when a participle matches another noun in this sentence, when it is adjectival and it is modifying another noun in the sentence, it should match it in excuse me, in gender and in number. And notice here that we have a feminine participle, and if it's supposed to be modifying this bono, excuse me, it should be in the neuter case, not in the feminine case. And in fact, we don't have anything else in the that comes before it in the feminine except for kamino. So even though this is ends with the omega here, this is a feminine word. And so presumably what has happened, and we've seen this before as we've been translating through Revelation, is that the participle has been attracted to the gender of the word that comes before it. So even though it should technically, grammatically speaking, be in the neuter gender because it's going with this, it has been attracted to the feminine gender and has by kamino, by this feminine word that comes before it, and that's why we have it in the feminine. And then the other problem with this is the fact that it is in the genitive case rather than in another case. So we have to sort of explain why it's in the genitive. And excuse me again. It appears to be in the genitive because John is constructing a genitive absolute, but has left out the subject of the genitive absolute. Excuse me, this cough is bedeviling me today. So what would presumably should be here is another genitive noun, because remember, a genitive absolute is a genitive participle with a genitive noun that sort of stands independent of the rest of the clause of the sentence. So we'd like to have something like it has been burned in a furnace. So we would like something like autes, a personal pronoun in the genitive that is the subject of the genitive absolute going with the participle. So most commentators are going to say that's what has happened, but John has just, he's left out the autes, the personal pronoun that it's supposed to go with. So so the sort of long explanation of all of this, the confusing bit about having a feminine and a genitive here, is that it's in the genitive case. This participle is in the genitive case because it's part of a genitive absolute wherein the pronoun, the subject of the genitive absolute, has been left out. John has sort of ungrammatically left that out, and it's in the feminine gender, even though it's modifying this up here because it's been attracted to kamino, which is in the feminine. So all that to say, we're going to translate this having been burned, or having been, let me look and see very quickly, sorry, what another English translation does. Made to glow is what the NASB does with this, being fired, inflamed in kamino, in a furnace. So, and his feet are likened to bronze, which has been inflamed or made to glow in a furnace. And then Kai is going to separate our next clause here, which is going to be quite a bit easier than what we have in the previous clause. And he phone autu, so once again, that genitive personal pronoun showing possession, his phone, his voice, as a phone, and in this case we'll probably actually translate phone not as voice but as sound. So even though they're the same exact word in the same case, gender, and number, in English I think we want to have two different translations of this one meaning his voice and this one meaning a sound. Huda tone, notice the genitive endings here. So we're going to have an of, genitive, our go-to translation is of. This is the word for waters, it's in the plural, and polon, many. So as a sound, or the sound of many waters. We can sort of stick in the definite article there because we like it to be the sound of many waters, even though in English we like that better, even though the definite article is not present there in Greek. So to put it all together, and his feet are likened to burnished bronze, glowing, or having been burned, or having been inflamed in a furnace, and his voice like the sound of many waters.